Can anyone tell what is meant by a nylon fiber? What is a nylon fiber? Yes, Gauri, can you tell what is a nylon fiber?
Nylon is a synthetic fiber.
Okay, synthetic fiber, it's fine. Any other information about nylon? What else you know about nylon? Nylon is a synthetic fiber. Polyester is also a synthetic fiber. What is the difference? Can you tell the difference? Okay, so you know just it is a synthetic fiber. We will go further into learning about this because we need to know the dyeing of nylon. See, nylon, it is a polyamide fiber. Okay, polyamide. Just to learn this word called polyamide, which contains many amides in its structure. Amide, you know what is meant by amide? Amide is something which has this group, which is NHCO group. This is the amide. Okay, so this is a thermoplastic fiber, like polyester. This nylon is also a thermoplastic fiber, and the thing is, it is moderately hydrophilic in nature. Okay, that is the difference. If you see polyester, it is not a hydrophilic fiber; it is a hydrophobic fiber. If you see just the moisture regain of polyester, it is around 0.4%. Okay, do you know what is meant by moisture regain? Huh? It is the ratio between the weight of the water with the oven dry weight of the material. Okay. In how much is the moisture regain of the cotton? You see, cotton has a high moisture regain, around say 8%, and wool has a moisture regain around say 18%. But for polyester, it is just a 0.4%. But whereas nylon, you see, it is moderately hydrophilic. It has the moisture regain of around say moisture regain. You see, it is around 4%. Okay. So this fiber, it is a high crystalline fiber, and better orientation is there. And in this nylon polyamide, it belongs to the family called polyamides, which will contain many amides. This NHCO is the repeating unit. There will be plenty of NHCO repeating units, and in this family, two nylon is there. One is a nylon 6 and 6,6. This 6 indicates the carbon atoms. Okay, number of carbon atoms. Okay, nylon 6 and the nylon 6,6. So you see this nylon 6,6, it is used in the textile material which has a high melting point of say around 260 degrees centigrade, and then when compared to the nylon which is around 215 degrees centigrade. And you see this is a highly crystalline type of a material, means it has a good strength when compared to this nylon 6. This nylon 6 does not have that much strength when compared to nylon 6,6. So if you see this nylon 6, it is more amorphous. You know the difference between the crystalline region and amorphous region. If a fabric has a high amorphous region, it is going to have a good pliability and good dye uptake, moisture absorption properties, etc. You know those things I remember. So the rate of dye uptake, if you compare this nylon 6,6 have a lesser dye uptake when compared to slower dye uptake when compared to nylon 6. So this nylon fibers, they are thermoplastic, hydrophilic, moderately hydrophilic. Okay, just remember this word. This is moderately hydrophilic. It means moisture region of around 4%. It can wet because it contains this amide and carboxyl group. These are the water-loving groups. Okay, this NH and CO. These groups are hydrophilic groups. They love water. Okay, so these fibers, you see, the polymer chains of this nylon, they are connected with the hydrogen bonds. And before going into other discussion, I want to show you the both nylon 6 and 6. This is the structure of nylon 6. Okay, this is the structure of nylon 6, and here it is 6,6. Okay, so here you can see C5, and one here it is C6. You can see here C5 H2 into 10. So C carbon here 5 and here 1. So it is nylon 6, and here it is 6,6. Okay, so from here you get 6 carbon atoms, and here you get another 6, C4 and 1C and 1C. Okay, so 6,6. Okay, so it is the nylon 6 and this is the nylon 6. That is the difference, and it is amorphous. Okay, it is amorphous. It is not completely amorphous. Amorphous is high. Amorphous regions is high, but whereas here it is crystallinity, it is high. Okay, highly crystalline. So this is, I am telling a relative comparison between these both the fibers. Okay, so if you see these fibers have to be dyed now, and among these two, nylon 6 and 6, this 6,6 is a textile grade fiber. Okay, wherever for making the textile material you need some enough strength and elongation or other properties are there. So nylon 6,6 is a textile grade. Nylon 6 is not for the textile purpose. Okay, so this is the textile grade fiber. So we are, whatever discussion we are going to do, that we will be discussing the dyeing part on 6,6 only. So what is the difference between this 6,6 and 6? I have already told you. Nylon 6 is have a low melting point of say around 215 degrees centigrade, and nylon 6,6 is around 260 degrees centigrade. Nylon 6 is more amorphous and the rate of dyeing is very higher, but nylon 6,6 is less amorphous, means highly crystalline when compared to nylon 6. So you can say that nylon 6,6 it is suitable for textile use, and nylon 6,6 is less suitable because it is susceptible to heat. It is highly amorphous, so it is not that does not have that much of a strength, and when you subject it to heat treatment, it will become weaker. So we are not recommending the nylon 6 for the textile purpose. So coming down to the dyeing part, what is how to do the dyeing for nylon? Okay, so before going into dyeing, in this structure, if you observe, इसमें क्या है? NH2 F COOH. This F is the fiber. Okay, so fiber ka sites at the two sides of the fiber. These groups are called end groups. Okay, terminal groups. Terminal means at the end. Okay, so this is the COOH group. This is the NH2 group, and in between that there is the CONH group, which is the amide group. Okay, this is called the amide. This is the amine NH2, and this is the acid COOH. And in this group, you see, this is the NH2 group that controls the dyeing behavior with the anionic dyes. This dyes, about dyes we are going to see actually. Just briefly, I am telling you. Once again, I will show you the structure. You can see here at the ends, you have groups like COOH, NH2. See this here, NH2, COOH. And here you can see here NH2, COOH. This is the end group, the COOH. I will just draw, just encircle this. Okay, for your understanding. Okay, so these are the end groups in the nylon. Okay, so here this groups here, what is this group? This is the amide group. Okay, this is the amide group, this is the amine group, this is the acid group, this is the acid group, this is the amine group. So here the thing you need to know is that it is the NH2 group that control the dyeing behavior. Okay, that we are going to see how it is going to get dyed. So how to dye this nylon? What type of a dye you can use? So it includes a number of dyes. Nylon can be dyed with a number of dyes like direct, acid, metal complex, basic, reactive, disperse reactive, and solubilized dyes. The number of dyes to dye the nylon, it is very high. It is a high kind of an opportunity to be dyed with a variety of dyes. But commercially, it is the acid dyes are used for dyeing. Okay, since it is a thermoplastic fiber, Similar to polyester, this fiber can also be dyed with the dispersed dyes. Okay, so acid dyes is the commercially used dye, but dispersed dye also is possible to dye because it is this, you know very well, dispersed dyes are mainly developed for thermoplastic fibers like cellulose acetate. Okay, so this fiber can be dyed by dispersed dyes also. Okay, so first we will have a discussion on dispersed dyes because that is for your practical, because you have one practical in dispersed dyes. Later, then subsequently we will discuss the dyeing of nylon with the acid dyes. Okay, so coming down to our discussion, first we will start with the dispersed dyes. You know very well dispersed dyes, already you have learnt in the polyester dye. Disperse is a non-ionic dye. It is neither positive nor negative. Okay, it is non-ionic, does not have any kind of ionic charges, and it is water insoluble. Okay, so it do not chemically react with the nylon. Okay, so for this dyeing, to dye with the dispersed dye, we do not bother about COOH or NH2 group. Like a polyester, what will happen at polyester? Normally, when you heat it to high temperature, what will happen? The polyester changes from glassy state to the rubbery state. The time the pores of the polyester surface gets opened and the dye penetrates inside, and once it cooled, it will form a mechanical entrapment. After it gets cooled, the pores closes. Okay, so here polyester with the dispersed dyes, the dye and the fiber, they are held by the mostly by the van der Waals force, which is a very weak force. But since the temperature is happening at a very high temperature of say around 130 degrees, we are doing the temperature. So polyester have a good, after you dye with the dispersed dyes, you get the good bonding. Though the van der Waals force is a weak force, still you get a very better bonding, because at a very high temperature the fibers get swell and the structure changes from glassy state to rubbery state, and dyes penetrate inside the structure, and it forms a bonding. And after that, what will happen when you cool down? After you cool down, so that the structure collapses, so that whatever dyes have gone inside, that forms a van der Waals force with the fiber, and then it forms a bond. So that there is no kind of a ionic bonding or anything taking place. Only the van der Waals force and very few hydrogen bonds. Okay, mostly it is the van der Waals force of attraction. Okay, so in the same way, nylon is also a thermoplastic fiber, but the only difference is nylon has a good water-loving groups like COOH and NH2 groups. So then, how to dye this with the dispersed dyes? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. You can use the dispersed dyes, because since this nylon fiber also have a glass transition temperature, and nylon have a glass transition temperature of around say maybe around say 100 degrees or so. So nylon can be dyed with the dispersed dyes because it is a thermoplastic fiber. It can undergo transition from glassy state to rubbery state when you apply heat. So you can use that dispersed dye dispersing agent of say 1 to 2 gram per liter. You can use acetic acid because this nylon fiber it is safe under the acid pH. Okay, so this fiber also has good acid resistance. So these fibers, if you see nylon fabric, if you want to dye, you can start the dyeing at 60 degrees, then slowly raise the temperature to boil, dye for 1 hour, do the washing and soaping, you will get the dyed fabric. You do not need 130 degrees like polyester. Okay, even with the 100 degrees, it can undergo the dyeing. Okay, so you dye the nylon with the dispersed dyes. Then after that, what are the problem with the dispersed dyes if you dye with the nylon? There are many problems are there if you use the dispersed dyes. Normally, you see, I have told you, it is commercially, it is acid dyes that are used to dye the nylon. Dispersed dyes, if you use, what will happen? It will not have good wash fastness. Okay, it will mainly use for dyeing the pale shades, only for pale shades, like very light colors if you want to produce. And another problem is any kind of the nylon dyed fabric, if you expose it to sunlight, what will happen because of the reaction of ozone radiation and some oxides of nitrogen, it will cause some light fastness fading also, it is possible. And another unique problem in the nylon is the bariness. Okay, it is called a bari. This is a problem with the nylon kind of fabric. This problem will come. It is a very typical problem in the nylon. I will just show you how the problem dyed fabric will look like. Okay, so here this is not due to the dyeing. It is due to some irregularities in the orientation on the physical or chemical structure, so that structurally there is a defect, that because that will show as a bari. Okay, so you can see here, this is the bari effect. This is a structure of a knitted fabric where the yarns are dyed with the nylon. It is dyed with the dispersed dyes. You can see here a small pattern which is shown here, this white pattern you can see here. Okay, so here at certain portions of the fabric, if you see, there is a visual stripy white color pattern. You can see here it is parallel to the yarn in direction of the knitted or woven fabric, this kind of white pattern, because at some particular portions the dye uptake has not happened. It is because those places there is some difference in the coverage of the dye. Okay, so what is the reason for that? It is due to the during the fiber manufacture itself, there is some orientation in the physical or the chemical structure, there is some problem. So it was later discovered that whether it is a problem with the dye or whether it is a problem with the dyeing method or dyeing migration, what is the problem? Later with the research, people have found that it is due to the arrangement in the during the fiber manufacture. Okay, so this is one of the problem. For your basic learning, you learn this bari is one of the defect that will happen in the dispersed dyed nylon. Okay, so this is due to the physical, optical, or dye differences in the yarns, or geometrical differences in the fabric structure, or poor coverage of the dye, or acting in the singly or in combination to produce a bari pattern. Okay, so mainly this problem is due to the fiber manufacture itself. It has to be corrected. Otherwise, what will happen if the fiber is not properly, some irregularities are there in the orientation, in the physical or chemical structure of the fiber, that fabric, in that fiber, if the fabric is made and dyed, definitely it will produce this stripy pattern. So just for your theoretical understanding, when you give the Viva examination about nylon, they may ask you what are the problems with the nylon, what are the disadvantages with the nylon when it is dyed with the dispersed dyes. So these answers you can give so that you will get good appreciation. Okay, so this is with the briefly I have explained you about the dispersed dyeing with the nylon. Next we will move on to dyeing of nylon with the acid dyes. Okay, so acid dyes, coming down to the acid dyes. What are acid dyes? Acid dyes are the water soluble anionic dyes. Okay, it is water soluble. So if you see these dyes, what does this word called acid? What does it mean? Okay, so here these dyes color is present on the anionic portion of the dye molecule. The dye molecule will have a cationic and anionic portion. This dye will have the color in the anionic portion. That is the place where the minus charge is there. That place the color is there. That is why it is called the acid dyes. They are classified based on their structure and the pH of dyeing. Okay. So here there are some classifications are very important to know in the acid dyes. So this dyes, one important thing in this dyes when you use the acid dyes with nylon is a thing called strike rate. Okay, just to remember this word called strike rate. What is the strike rate? When you use an acid dye with a nylon and you start the dyeing, under acidic pH, say you're doing, because acid dye means it will obviously work in the acidic pH. So the strike rate means how much fast the dye gets absorbed to the fiber. Okay, how fast the dye is going to strike the fiber and then gets absorbed, diffused, and then penetrate inside the structure. So that is called the strike rate. So that strike rate has to be controlled. Okay, that is controlled by the pH, temperature, and presence of electrolyte. Okay, which is otherwise called the retarding agent. Retarding agent is one which will actually control the strike rate. Okay, so here in this dyeing, the addition of retarding agent is important. Okay, so that will be that should be controlled. Okay, so here, as I have told you, this nylon has a higher affinity towards acid dyes. Okay, because nylon structure, if you have this nylon structure, have this acid groups and this amine groups and this amide groups. These groups are liked by the acid dyes. That is why it could dye them. Okay, so but one thing again I'm telling you, this strike rate or the retarding agent, which is a electrolyte, that has to be added in this dyeing process. Okay, that is one of the important thing to be understood. So if you see how, before learning about dyeing, how this classification, how these dyes are classified. Okay, there are three classifications in the acid dyes. One is called the strong or leveling or equalizing dyes. Okay, so these dyes have a low affinity. You know what is meant by affinity? Can anyone tell what is meant by affinity? What is meant by affinity? Can anyone tell? What is meant by affinity? Can anyone tell? Mukteshwar Madhav Godane, can you tell what is meant by affinity? Effect? No. What effect?
The kind of attraction.
Exactly. Affinity means attraction. Okay. So if the attraction is very high, what will happen if the dye and the fiber have a very high attraction? Dye will very easily go and attach to the fiber. Okay. So these dyes are classified based on the affinity also. So you see, class 1 dyes have a low affinity. Low affinity means less attraction. So in that case, what to do? If for a low affinity dyes, you can improve the affinity. How to improve it? You have to, for example, you can use one is the pH around say 1 to 2 you can use, because it is a very highly acidic pH. The dye attraction towards the fiber increases. You can use pH of say around 1 to 2 you can use, and simultaneously this pH is given by the sulfuric acid of say around 2%, and dyeing temperature already I have told you it is the boiling temperature only, it is 95 or 100 you can use. And here addition of this sodium sulfate, which is the electrolyte, this is called the retarding agent. Okay, this is important, because what will happen if you are using for a low affinity dyes, if you are using a pH of say around 1 to 2, in that case what will happen, the strike rate will be very high. Okay, strike rate in the sense the dye will very fastly go and attach to the fiber. That time what will happen, some portions of the fiber will get dyed, some portions of the fiber will not get properly dyed. So in that case, it will not give you a level dye. In order to get the level dyeing, what you need to do is you have to control the strike rate. For that, you need to add an electrolyte, which is the sodium sulfate. That is 10% sodium sulfate you add for 1 hour at 95 degrees centigrade. So this is for sulfuric acid is for maintaining the acidic pH. Since it is a low affinity dye, in order to create the affinity, you are bringing using the less pH of around say 1 to 2. Okay. Then second class is the milling dye. Okay, you can see any standard reactive dye packet outside, it is mentioned mill acid, like there is a milling acid dye which has a moderate affinity, which means that medium affinity dyes. Okay, so for this dye you see it is already having a medium affinity, so that you need not use a higher pH, like as higher pH in the sense lower pH like acid, highly acid pH you need not use. You can use a moderate acid pH around say 4 to 5. Okay, because it has a medium affinity. You need not bring more affinity. Okay, so you can use a weak acid like acetic acid of around say 3 to 4%, and carry out the dyeing at boiling temperature for 60 to 75 minutes. You can do the dyeing because it is a milling dye, because this already have a moderate affinity. So in that case, if something already have a good attraction, so you need not disturb them with further making it complicated by adding more acid. More acid environment is not necessary. Okay, and next is the class 3 type of a dye, which is called the super milling dye. Okay, so this one has a very high affinity. You can see here. That is why it is called as super milling. Milling means, you can say, higher affinity. So here, this dyes can be applied at neutral pH. Say neutral pH means around 7. Okay. So here, one thing which you need to add is, here you do not, in these two types of dye, you do not add a retarding agent, because this is a moderate affinity dye. But here, for the super milling dye, you are working at the neutral pH, because already it has a very high affinity. You need not maintain an acidic pH for that. Okay, so you have to use a different agent called CH3 COONH4. Okay, or NH4, the ammonium sulfate. Okay, or something like CH3COONH4. These are called the acid liberating agents. Okay, so this fiber can be dyed in the neutral pH. This dye, if you use this super milling dye, in this, using the super milling dye, you can dye the nylon in the neutral pH. Okay, so then how to then with the if it already has a high affinity, but still, in order to provide deep colors, if you want to make something deep dyeing, how it is possible without acid pH? You have to, acid pH should be there. Then what you have to do? You have to add this chemical. Okay, so this is the acid liberating agent. Okay, ammonium sulfate, or say ammonium acetate. Okay, this is the ammonium acetate or ammonium sulfate. So what will happen if you add this group at a higher temperature? This group, let us say this ammonium acetate, this will release acetic acid. You can see here CH3COO H will get liberated. CH3COOH will separately get liberated. So that at some particular temperature, this big pH becomes acidic. So at that particular temperature, the dyeing will happen much faster. Okay, rather than at the starting time, because when you, instead of introducing a dye, because introducing the acid pH, that is not a desirable feature, because it is a high affinity, very high affinity dye. In this case, you can dye with the neutral pH and use a acid liberating agent for 1 hour. You can do the dyeing at 95 degrees. This acid liberating agent, after a particular time, what will happen? It will dissociate into acid, and separately it will dissociate into acid. Okay, or an acid with some sulfate separately to release as a byproduct. So this particular acid will actually take care of the pH. So it will be, pH will become acidic after some particular time. So at that particular time, the dyeing will be very rapid. Okay, so that the fiber will get completely dyed. So that what will happen? The leveling problem is also taken care, because initial stage itself you are not applying the high pH, and initially you are not using a retarder also. In that case, you can use a acid liberating agent that will work after some particular time. Okay, directly you are not using the acid. You are using an acid liberating agent that will it will start its work after some time. Okay, so that you need to keep in mind. So coming down to our discussion, this dye, pH of this dye is very important to know. Effect of pH. pH is the most critical part in the acid dyeing of nylon. Okay, so pH, if you see from 0 to 9, there is a pH x-axis, and y-axis shows the dye uptake. If you see, this is the place called 2.7, which is called the isoelectric point. Okay, you should know what is meant by isoelectric point, where there is a balance of positive and negative charges. Okay, it's called the isoelectric point. This is isoelectric point of nylon. Okay, isoelectric point. So at what temperature, at what pH this dyeing can happen? At this pH, I have told you, at around pH 2.7, it is the charge of nylon is electrically neutral. Okay, there is no charge at this pH. So at what pH you have to dye? So that is a question. So for this, there is something critical. pH is very critical to know. For example, this dyeing, for this carrying out this particular dyeing, pH, it is always recommended to be maintained above 3. Okay, above 3 it is recommended. Okay, though there are different class of dyes and there is a separate classification for that, but that is only for particular class. But in general, if you are speaking about acid dyes, you should not use a low pH like 1 to 2. It is not desirable. What will happen is we want only this portion, that is the terminal end groups of the fibers to be dyed. Okay, this is the fiber structure. You can see here. This is the acid. So what will happen when this fiber it is put in acid? This fiber will just form NH3 plus. This addition of this hydrogen. You can see here this acid. From acid, you know very well, hydrogen ions will just move towards this NH2 plus and become NH3 plus. Okay, so here how this bonding take place? Okay, that is very important. At this pH 2.7, it is nylon is electrically neutral, but at acidic pH, what will happen? The surface of the fiber should remain positive, and the pH should be the dye should be negative. Okay, just keep this in mind. The surface of the fiber, the dye fiber attachment, how it will take place, how the bonding will take place. It is the bonding, ionic bond will take place between the acid end group of the fiber. Okay, this is the acid end group. You can see here COOH is the carboxylic acid group. Between this end group and the amino group of the fiber, the dyeing will take place. Okay, so this is not the dye, I'm sorry, this is the fabric. You can see here F stands for fabric. So between this amino group and acid group, end group of the dye, from the acid dye there will be an end group called COOH. That COOH will, and that COOH and this NH2 will get form a ionic bond. Okay, you know very well what is meant by ionic bond or electrovalent bond. So it is same. So that will happen only at around pH 3. Okay, even at a less pH also it will happen. But the problem is if you use a less pH like 1 to 2 during rain, you are making this solution highly acidic like 1 or 2. In that case, what will happen? This internal groups also will get bonded. This internal groups like amide, these groups and amide groups which are in between. Just I will show you the figure again. This interior groups also will get colored. Okay, this bonding will form, the dye acid will form bond with this group also, which is actually not desirable. Okay, so in that case, what will happen? It will lead to over dyeing. Over dyeing means unlevelness will happen. Okay, so just to keep this in mind, only this NH2 group should be protonated. Okay, protonation means addition of a hydrogen. Okay, from this acid, one hydrogen has come here. Only this group should be made protonated. So here you can see there is a negative positive charge. Okay, just I am just encircling this for your better understanding. Okay, so this is the positively charged surface of the fiber. This positive charge and the dye which contains the negative charge, both of them will form the ionic bond. This is what we expect. This is the ionic bond that is taking place between the acid end group of the dye and the protonated amino group. Okay, so in case if you are using a lower pH, like say 1 or 2, what will happen? inside groups also will get dyed. This group also will get colored. Okay, so this, in that case, what will happen? It will cause a over dyed nylon. Over dyed means not completely dyed. It will cause some unleveled dyeing. Okay, some portions the color will be higher, some portions the color will be lower, which is not a desirable feature. Okay, because that is the reason you add this retarding agent. Okay, just to come back to our discussion, this Na2SO4, this sodium sulfate is an electrolyte. Why we are adding this retarding agent? Because retarding agent is the one that will control the strike rate. Okay, otherwise what will happen in a very, very less acid pH, the strike rate will be very high. Okay, so we want an optimum strike rate only. Okay, that is why we maintain the pH and add the retarding agent so that we reduce the speed of the striking. Okay, otherwise it is better to use a super milling dye which itself has a higher affinity, and that can be dyed with the neutral pH and with the help of a acid liberating agent like sodium acetate, ammonium acetate, ammonium sulfate, or ammonium acetate or ammonium sulfate. In either of this you can use, so that will liberate the acid. Okay, so if it liberates acid at a particular, after some time, what will happen? After gradually the pH will change, so that this over dyeing problem will not happen. Okay, so that thing you need to understand from the dyeing of nylon with acid dyes. Okay, so this pH is a very critical parameter in the dyeing. And coming down to fastness properties of nylon have a poor wash fastness. Okay, nylon gives very good colored shades you will get when compared with the dyeing of nylon with the dispersed dyes. Dyeing of nylon with acid dyes have a better better colors you will get. Number of colors are more, but its washing fastness is poor. Okay, you will not get a good wash fastness. Wash fastness means what? You take a dyed fabric, wash it in a soap for some 2-3 times, and you see the color gets bleeded. Okay, so all for this for providing good wash fastness, nowadays dyes have been engineered for the better wash fastness. Dyes are coming, but you see, in order to increase the wash fastness, what we have to do is you have to do some after treatment with some tannic acid or some chemical, some dye fixation you can do. You can treat it with some chemical called tannic acid or tartaremetic. This is the potassium antimony tartrate. This kind of a post treatment you can do, so that whatever dyes that has already got fixed, that will be intact, so that when you wash it with water, it will not easily come out. Okay, just like a dye fixation recipe is given, just for your understanding, you just know this. This need not be known in detail. So in general, you should know that acid dyes give good shades, good colors, but fastness of the wash fastness is actually poor. Okay, so just keep this in mind. Normally, if a dye is highly water soluble, its wash fastness will be poor, because if the dye is water soluble, then in that case, if you wash it from the fabric also, there is a chance of coming out. Though there is a electrovalent bond formation is there, still it will come out. Okay, so that is why nowadays more research is going on to develop acid dyes with higher wash fastness. But nowadays some dyes have already started to come with a better wash fastness. But this is in general, if you compare with the other dyes like VAT dyes have excellent wash fastness, whereas acid dyes have a poor wash fastness. These are relative comparison. Okay, so just this you need to know. So in today's lecture, we have discussed about what is nylon, what is polyamide fiber, how it can be dyed with the dispersed dye, how it can be dyed with the acid dye. These things we have discussed. So that's all for today.